Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game. This game is gonna be Romantic versus Fortitude, taking place here on, well, Hammerfall. On the top left-hand side of the map, we have Infi spawning as the blue human, top left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, over here on the bottom right, we have Romantic spawning as the red human. Human versus human mirror match here on Hammerfall. Should be a great game. Both sides opening up with similar builds, Altar of Kings and barracks, a little bit of a farm off by Infi for a bit of SimCity and making sure that the placement and the positioning is correct as these players do get underway. Two very big names in the human scene coming out of China for WarCraft 3. Two of the best players around playing humans, so very curious as how they approach each other. Being able to play up against watch two of the best humans go at it and see how they try to tackle this particular problem, how many casters we're going to see, whether we go, what direction we're going to go for. As in the human versus human mirror match, there seems to be the counter, a unit, and then a counter, and then a counter to the counter, and then the counter to the counter to the counter, and so on. Right? Spell breakers, obviously always a possibility, because it shuts down slow so well from the sorceresses, and at the same time also just overall effective having that magic immunity. However, knights and sundering blades do become an option, which therefore kind of forces some players into trying to go into griffins, and then once griffins are in the air, well, you can go into flying machines or dragon hawks with shackle, and well, things start to unravel there. We are looking at an archmage by both sides, meaning Brilliance Aura is on the table, always having the option to give your heroes and additional casters more mana, always a good thing as Romantic. Now, well, rushing out forward, Archmage first, and gonna try and aggro away this rock golem creep camp, and then as they come back, well, drop a water elemental and get some damage here. All right, Forest Troll Berserker, the first to take the majority of that damage. Forest Troll Trapper hasn't even looked, finally throwing some axes here, and you're looking at the rock golem just absorbing large amounts of damage. Piercing damage has now really fallen out of favor in the early stages, as there's not many units that are unarmored or light armored early on. What does that mean? That the water elemental and piercing damage in general is going to be doing a little bit less compared to all of the other types during the early stages of the game. This medium armor, right, takes less damage from piercing. Same thing from heavy armor as well. As we look at this giant sea turtle, looking to get finished off here, Archmage does have the Ring of Regeneration and could pick up a cause with Attack +5. The creeping patterns from both sides nearly identical. And what item is going to get dropped? Ring of Protection +3. Archmage of Romantic perhaps getting the benefit of that end, being able to deal additional damage as opposed to needing your hero to be taking damage for an item to be effective. Not necessarily the best case scenario. You see the Archmage trying to lob in a couple of attacks there. Infi's Water Elemental purposely trying to back away. Are we going to get a little bit of deny here? Who's getting the last hit? It looks as though, denied by the creeps. The Null Brute getting the last hit onto that Water Elemental. Romantic not benefiting there at all. We're looking at Romantic trying to kill off a couple of creeps as well, as Militia now being called over. Now, the question is going to be who can get to level 3 first. Dropping a level 2 Water Elemental is significantly going to be better, and Romantic had Militia cleared out the southern side here, away from all the action, and now dropping a level 2 variety. That level 2 variety does deal more damage than that level 1 variety, nearly 50% more, if not more than 50%. Overall, so 33 compared to 41, you can see that is a very, very big difference there, as the Archmage of Infi may be forced to try and, well, auto-attack his own Water Elemental here. Meanwhile, Infi getting forced to pull back. Romantic getting that, well, small upgrade advantage or hero level advantage, and from there could do a little bit more. Are we going to drop another Water Elemental? That's going to be another Water Elemental inside. Archmage needs to back away, doesn't want to take too much feedback damage. Staff of Teleportation inbound back. Archmage now inside the fight here. We see some massive repairs, And how is this going to go down? Archmage taking quite a bit of mana damage again, as the 2 water elementals are, well, should be able to do quite a bit. All right, down to a 77, 38 hit points. That could give level 3. No, does not give level 3. That's going to be huge. Not giving level 3. Now Infi trying to finish off, gets a kill onto a footman, and he'll be able to drop level 3 water elementals as well. All right, Arcane Power was lost here after all that time. We're looking at Infi now looking to perhaps punish. Does have boots of speed. Is he going to get one more final shot off on that footman? He will. He's not going to chase the other footman there, as this footman of Romantic now retreating back. More footmen are going to be perhaps trying to get in some easy attacks. More units are going to get regathered. There's boots of speed as well. He's going to be able to outrun and aggroes those creeps, and now looks to back home. Now, tech to tier 2, not done yet. Meanwhile, tech to tier 2 already done. Infi looking to get the Mountain King, and this is that dual Arcane of Sanctum. All right, so priests are definitely on the table. We are getting up an Arcane Vault on one side. No Arcane Vault by Infi, so there we go. I was going to say, no Arcane Vault means no spell breakers. That would not make any sense at this point in the game, as the Romantic now comes across here, going to find a little bit of damage, takes down Mountain King out here on the battlefield, perhaps going to try and go for a Stormbolt damage onto that Archmage again. Arcane Vault needs to get completed. However, Peasant working to do a little bit of, working to do a little bit of repairing here. Needs to get called over. Archmage could be in some serious trouble. Drops a Water Elemental, could get Stormbolted, and, well, that Stormbolt would have been, well, clear and present damage indeed, as the Water Elementals all retreat back home as well. All right, this army back at home. No Arcane Vault on the inside, and Romantic, who did do a lot of damage early on, is now kind of trapped inside his own base. He doesn't want to try and venture forward. Infi does have some water elementals ready to push in pressure. You can see Arcane Sanctums. They will be built quickly. They are being triply built here, so only 14 seconds until those buildings are done. It does take a little bit more of additional resources. And then once those are done training, perhaps a couple of priests will be trained to try and keep the Archmage good on hit points. During this time, though, Infi has time to go after creep camps. The Mountain King already sitting at level 2 and now continuing to venture forth. Are we going to get more priests here? Yeah, we're going to get a total of 3 priests and that, adept training. We are not going into tier 3, and then from here we should be looking at some spell breakers to join in on the fight. Staff of Teleportation inbound for the Archmage here. Mountain King gets some additional items. Well, some rings of protection. Cause of attack still staying on that Archmage. We're looking at a potential trap there, and Tome of Agility picked up by that Mountain King. Level 3, level 2.5 versus level 3, level 1. Archmage, regeneration, ring of regeneration, while topping off some more of those hit points. There goes a quick ensnare onto the water elemental, meaning he's no longer going to be tanking that much damage. Priests are coming over. They're going to try and heal a bit more as well. Mountain King staying at level 1. As the Mountain King of Infi looks to gain more experience, may be able to get to level 3 off of this creep camp. Level 6 Forest Troll Warlord should get him mostly there. Yes, 507 experience, 543. There was also that last Forest Troll Trapper, as we see dual level 3 heroes coming across from Infi. That level 2 Stormbolt, a very big threat, as we could be seeing more dividing and conquering here. Mountain King Illusion going to absorb a little bit of damage. Oh, there's a Stormbolt there. Forest Troll Warlord going to get taken down quickly. And there's a quick surround. Forest Troll Warlord not even bothering to back up. Potion of Greater Healing picked up by the Mountain King. And that Mountain King, who's had survivability items before, going to be nearly impossible now. So Infi, perhaps the one in the driver's seat of this game, with better items. And a level 4 on that, or level 3 on the Mountain King, and a level 3 on that Archmage. Level 4 on a single Archmage. They're not going to matter nearly as much. We're going to see a lot of damage. There goes one priest, and now it's going to be up to Infi to perhaps try and Stormbolt another priest again to pick off units one at a time. Mountain King going after an illusion. That's going to quickly get cleaned up, as the expansion off to the north nearly done as well. So both sides trying to get their expansions up and operational. This mirror match is exactly that. both sides doing very similar things. There's a Lucky Bash there. Stormbolt trying to clean things up. At level 4 now on the Archmage. This Footman is going to be able to stay alive. No, it is not. But we are looking at a bit of damage here as we're going to see a Stormbolt go down onto another Footman. That Footman's going to get taken down. Another Footman going to get taken down. You know, he's trying to retreat all the way back. And really a battle of just going after the minor characters. All right, the heroes, anyone with plot armor, Archmage and Mountain King able to stay alive. All of the supporting cast getting hit with Stormbolts and things of that nature.
A player's forces are under attack.
Yep. Sometimes it's easy to focus on the wrong character and then suddenly you're not knocking anything down. And we'll look at Romantic, who's trying to do exactly this here. Archmage, who's going to get the experience? That's going to be the question. Archmage tries to finish things off. Archmage does not get the experience. Mountain King actually gets the experience and gets a little bit more closer to level 3. All right, there goes the Voidwalker. That will get taken out. And that is a lot of priests. Wow. All right, that is a lot of priests by Infi. Romantic is going the Spellbreaker route here. And remember, Spellbreakers have a little bit more range. 250 range, 13 to 15 damage. They hit a little bit harder than the Footman, but at the same time, they also need one supply more. So 50 supply more, that could add up to be quite a bit overall as we're looking at the Enraged Elementals getting taken down. All right, level 3 now on the Mountain King of Romantic. Both sides fighting their way through. The Spellbreakers trying to finish off the Priest. There goes a Stormbolt on another Priest again, another Stormbolt. So this is just a battle of Stormbolting Priest trying to take down minor characters. And what we may end up having at the end is, well, there goes level 4 Mountain King. Are we going to see another Stormbolt getting just enough mana? Is he going to Stormbolt? No, he is not. All right, I would have sworn another Stormbolt was about to come online to pick off another unit. Instead, Archmage backs away here, going to take this time, allow that Brilliance Aura to do its thing, give additional mana. And there is a bit too many priests, I would say, coming across from Infi right now as we're starting to look at some Spellbreakers. There is 4 priests right now. That's perhaps the right amount of units that you need. Otherwise, you find that you can't kill your opponent's units as you just don't have enough damage output, especially against other magic immune units such as those Spellbreakers. All right, 2 Footmen walk into a base off to the north here. Infi does not have his guard tower operational, and with that, those Footmen may be able to take down a couple of peasants here. So 2 Footmen fighting where there isn't a battle. Stormbolt onto the Mountain King. Mountain King losing a lot of mana. That's going to be a little bit of a setback here. Are we going to see that Mountain King lose too much mana? Perhaps. He's trying to venture forth here. Stormbolt onto a priest and trying to take down a unit. All right, that's going to be the first corpse getting, well, laid as we're laid down here as we're looking as the Mountain King tries to back up. Yes, not. Sometimes you realize what you say after you say it. All right. Anyways, or misinterpreted. All right. Couple of corpses here. What, 4? Difficult to say what it was. Both sides losing about 4 supply. It appears 67 supply compared to 68, and it's gonna still come down to who is able to do a bit more. Infi able to find a Footman out on the battlefield. Still no upgrade on this guard tower. That could be a bit of a mistake there. Mountain King going to be able to easily catch up to that Footman and, well, throw the hammer and once more take down another unit. Mountain King, oh, Infi has just had better map control throughout this battle. He has the potion of invulnerability and a greater potion of healing still after all this time. Priest could be in trouble, down to 28 hit points. He finally tries to back away, but no, the Spellbreakers were able to get that focus fire down. Archmage does get up to level 5, level 3 Brilliance Aura first. More mana across all of these priests here, especially important if you do not upgrade the castle to get that mastery training on those priests. Sometimes it feels like mana is just not enough here as we are looking at a little bit of, well, mana feedback onto that Mountain King. Stormbolt onto that Mountain King. Mountain King going to lose some mana. Spellbreakers most likely going to go after that target. Mountain King says, you know what? If I don't have any bullets in the chamber, that's fine. Maybe I can get a bash in. No lucky bash there. Spellbreaker trying to back away again. Both sides still fighting their way through. Low hit point Spellbreakers able to back up. and 73 versus 72 supply. Mountain King's, well, nope. Romantic is the one with mana, does Stormbolt, and finds a Priest Spellbreakers with enough range to finish off the target. We're still getting in a little bit of bashes again. There's some more Dispel Magic as a low hit point Spellbreaker trying to retreat back again. There's another Stormbolt again. Spellbreakers are Romantic, finding the target. Healing Scroll, finding more, but the Spellbreakers are just diving in onto the enemy lines here. The Priests are trying to retreat back, and now the enemy, the lines are completely, removed. What's going to go down here? All right, Spellbreaker down to 10 hit points. Mountain King could be in trouble. Potion of Greater Healing used, but already down to 500 or below, sub 500 again, as this low hit point Spellbreaker finds a way to stay alive. Infi was trying to go after some of these Spellbreakers again, and somehow Romantic was able to save two very low hit point Spellbreakers in this battle. You can see 15 hit points, and the other one, I believe, other one down to 135 here, as the units are going to try and regroup. That's a 6 supply save, and that's the reason why Romantic has won out on this particular fight there, saving those two low hit point units, even though Infi has the upgraded advantage. All right, Archmage and Footman looking to clear things up here, trying to take things down. Mountain King and Priest off to the north here. Mountain King doesn't have that much mana, but just needs a little bit more to try and get to level 5. During this time, well, Romantic is looking to perhaps try and finish things off. There's a Gargantuan Sea Turtle, Wand of the Wind now picked up. Units trying to back up. Infi now in high upkeep. He really wants to just lose one of his own peasants if he can help it. And now this Town Hall could get battered down. Back to the other side here. Another Dark Turtle Archmage gets a Stormbolt. Archmage of Infi now shows up to the party as well. Are we going to see another bash or anything like that? Archmage down to 102 hit points, down to 94, trying to retreat back away, and a bash. Infi with the bash hits the Archmage and takes him down. Stormbolt on Infi's, and suddenly Romantic finds himself in a precarious situation, not fully harvest or mining here on the southern part. Gonna be forced to resurrect an expensive Archmage, and well, still finding himself behind on the Mountain King's level. The difference between level 3 and level 2 Stormbolt perhaps could be the difference here. Are we going to see a couple of bashes or anything of that nature? No. Looks as though the Town Hall going to try and stay alive here. Units trying to back up. There are priests in the backside. Plenty of priests in the backside here. And, well, it's going to come down to who can get cleaned up first. Archmage trying to get in a position here. That entire front line, you can see no one. Stormbolt onto the Mountain King. If you can remove that Mountain King from the battle, that is huge. Mountain King Stormbolt onto the other Mountain King. Now Infi losing quite a bit of mana. He loses a bullet from the chamber. So level 4 Mountain King still has another bullet in the chamber. Scroll of Healing used. There's an Invul Potion used right there. A little bit of a big commit again as the Mountain King trying to fight back. There's a bash onto that Mountain King as we're looking at the Mountain King perhaps trying to fall back again. Archmage could be in trouble. Walls are, well, starting to fall around here. Perhaps a couple of peasants could easily get taken down. There goes one peasant. And, well, that is a priest also lost right before the Scroll of Town portal.
Players' forces are under attack.
Coming back around, Mountain King of Infi gets Stormbolted again. However, no Spellbreaker follow-up. I need to cut my hair. It feels like it's getting into my eye. No Spellbreaker follow-up means that he still has plenty of mana. 86 supply. Infi staying in high upkeep with a small army size advantage, but the army size advantage only really matters if you are engaging with your entire army. All right, Mountain King gets Stormbolted, could have a little bit of trouble losing a bit of mana, trying to back away. There goes another Water Elemental here. Spellbreaker's looking to engage. Mountain King Stormbolt finds another Priest, so just going after Priest whenever they can. There's another bash onto a Mountain King. Both sides exchanging blows again. Mountain King, is he going to try and Stormbolt the target? Yes, Stormbolt's the Mountain King once more, but he is not getting targeted. So by not getting targeted, he still has mana. Low hit point Spellbreakers trying to retreat back here. Knights now joining in on the fight. Knights trying to get into that front line position. 32 to 48 damage. you can see that those Sundering, even without Sundering Blades, still does quite a bit, as Infi is now in castled here with the Paladin making its way down. Paladin is that backline hero, being able to get in some big heals. No Staff of Sanctuary on that Paladin though yet, as the Mountain King still trying to engage once more. Alright, Priest perhaps trying to retreat back here. Mountain King could get a Stormbolt onto there. Mountain King does get a Holy Light. He's going to be able to stay alive a little while longer. 87 supply compared to 79 as Militia now making their way over. Alright, Knights trying to finish off this one target down here. It looks as though this Spellbreaker is going to fall. He finally falls. There's a Scroll of Healing. Low hit point Knight now trying to back away. There's a Holy Light right there. Mountain King still continuing to battle it up here. Archmage, Infi, sitting at level 5, going to go ahead and Scroll of Town Portal, head back home. One unfortunate Priest, just a split second late again. Now, we could see Infi pick up a Staff of Sanctuary here. Could also see a Scroll of Regeneration first. No Staff of Sanctuary. That does come as a surprise. We are getting up another Knight. Does the Knight have Sundering Blades? It does not. But with 32 to 48 damage and the right type of armor, should be able to win well against those Spellbreakers if it wasn't for the fact that the Spellbreakers have a little bit more range. Alright, units getting into position again. Archmage going to drop a Water Elemental, perhaps try and finish off a couple of these units again. More Militia making their way over. Mountain King doing a little bit of a dance back and forth. We're going to see a Stormbolt. No, we do not. Units trying to make their way back up as the Priest. Here is a big point. Infi's Priest have an additional 50 hit points. Well, didn't matter to that one. As the Mountain King now trying to back away. 330 supply. Oh, 330 versus 370. So 40 hit point difference. There's a Holy Light right there. Mountain King taking quite a bit of damage, losing quite a bit of mana. Units trying to retrain, as Romantic was the one to retrain in the Blizzard. Alright, so retraining in the Blizzard, so the Knights are not going to be able to be nearly as useful as, well, Blizzard down onto those Knights, the Spellbreakers to shake it off, but those Knights definitely do not like it. Both sides still fighting. Mountain King getting bashed again by the other Mountain King as well. There is a Stormbolt Romantic. Holy Light still trying to save Archmage of Infi. Does have mass teleport. Can get out of tight situations if necessary. We're looking at another Spellbreaker getting taken down. Another Stormbolt, perhaps Stormbolt onto the Mountain King. Mountain King in trouble, down to 300 hit points. Does get a heal, does have an invul potion as well, as both sides are still pushing through 85 supply compared to 76. Romantic now still raining down on Blizzard. Water Elemental getting dropped here as the Knights could get that taken down. Yes, there goes the Knight. That's going to give level 6 to Romantic's Archmage, as he also opens up with mass teleport as well. Big damage on both sides here. Are we going to see another Stormbolt? No, Mountain King too far away from all the action. Unable, but does get a bash onto the Archmage. Bash followed by Stormbolt. That's going to be a Scroll of Town Portal necessary. And he does use it in time to get away right there. Oh, wow. That Spellbreaker nearly dead. But what does this mean for the Town Hall? Archmage needs a little bit longer to heal back up. Potion of Healing, Scroll of Regeneration, another Potion of Healing. But is this going to buy too much time for the Mountain King to get to level 6 and perhaps take down the Town Hall? No, just one, not the other. As we do see, Avatar has been picked up by the Mountain King of Infi. There's a Stormbolt onto the Mountain King there, but no follow-up damage, as the main gold mine for Infi has been mined out. Staff of Teleportation going to go ahead, teleport away. Couple of peasants, well, too close to the action, and well, they'll get cleaned up. 73 supply compared to 75. No, once again, I still say no Staff of Sanctuary. Perhaps an issue. Finally getting the Staff of Sanctuary now, and there's a Clarity Potion on this Mountain King as well. Priest, plenty of targets to try and heal up. There's another Holy Light right there. Paladin needs a little bit. 75 supply compared to 72. We're going to go into an engagement. There's a Stormbolt. There's some damage. Wow. All right, Mountain King quickly goes into Avatar mode, says, you know what, just forget it. And with the Avatar mode, the Archmage of Romantic says, you know what, you activate your ability. I don't need to fight you while your Mountain King is magic immune. Being magic immune means Spellbreaker feedback doesn't work. I can't drain your mana nearly as fast. And, well, you can stand in Blizzard as well. That's too many advantages. I pick and choose your battles. and I made you activate while you were away. All right, so Knights now have some Sundering Blade. That is going to be a big deal. Are we going to see a Staff of Sanctuary on that Knight? No, just a Holy Light instead. Both sides ready to fight as the Knight is just going after targets. There's a Stormbolt finding a Priest there that, well, being lower on hit points could make a big deal. There goes Blizzard raining down. All of the Priests need to make sure that they back away. Mountain King still has plenty of mana, but his avatar is going to be coming to an end. And with that avatar coming to an end, he's going to start losing mana pretty quickly. You can see that mana dropping like a fly down to 100. He needs to get off another Stormbolt quickly. Is he going to get a Stormbolt? Yes, goes after another Priest again, as this Knight has just finished the job, taking down multiple targets. 74 supply compared to 70. Gold is, well, always a commodity as more militia trying to make their way over. This Knight, while holding position, needs to get back in on the action, but I don't believe Infi realizes just quite yet. Trying to fall back again. What is this Knight doing? The extra 4 supply not joining in on the battle. Paladin does have level 2, does have Divine Shield over Devotion Aura, so well, that's going to make things a little bit more difficult. Archmage is going to Staff of Sanctuary. Yes, he will, but this Knight down here needs to get in on the action. 71 supply compared to 74. Mountain King could be in trouble. No, able to teleport back in time. All right, this Knight, oh, going to get Storm Bolted. Is it going to give a big amount of experience? No, the Mountain King just going to be shy of level 6. Archmage perhaps took a little bit of that experience, and, well, that could be the difference. 73 supply compared to 74. More gold still being mined here on the south side. 2,500 gold versus nearly out of gold for Infi. And that is going to be a problem. Mountain King making its way down, perhaps going to try and pick up another Invul Potion. At this point, Infi knows that this base off to the north is NWS. Really not worth saving. Trading gold mines at this point is a very smart call. There's only 50 gold left there. We're going to see this Town Hall get taken down pretty quickly. And, well, 73 supply compared to 69. Who has the advantage? More Knights getting trained up again. We're looking at more pressure. Arcane Vault going to get shut down here. Archmage perhaps needs to teleport in to the battle as we look at the Arcane Vault getting thrown down. All right, 3 Knights here. We are only at keep here, and still a little bit of a tough spot. Inner Fire going to be exchanged and forth here. There's a Stormbolt onto the north here, and now Infi once more uses the Avatar. He's going to be in that front line spot. He's able to absorb all of that, well, feedback damage. 2 Avatars engaging. Two Avatars engaging. There's a Stormbolt trying to find another, and we're still looking at the Priest able to walk around freely. If the Priests are able to walk around freely for Infi should be fine here. Stormbolts are just still going down left and right, as the Avatar here does also have an Invul Potion. Infi is trying to go after this Mountain King here. There's a bash onto there. Level 7 now on the Archmage. Romantic's Mountain King trying to dodge away, down to 83 hit points. He's magic immune, so, well, nothing can hit him from range. Mountain King trying to catch up. This Mountain King does also have a Boots of Speed. Will this Mountain King be able to get into position? Staff of Teleportation, perhaps? No. Are we going to see a bash? No. Invul Potion instead. And with that Invul Potion, well, Mountain King is going to be able to get away. All right, Staff of, well, Mass Teleport inbound here. Going to try and save once more. Mountain King Stormbolts the Archmage, stopping that Blizzard after 2 quick rounds. There's a Lucky Bash, a Spellbreaker taking quite a bit of damage. Unit still trying to chase here. Mountain King low on mana as a Blizzard rains back down. Mountain King is visible again, and the Mountain King of Romantic down to 2 hit points. All right, Mountain King down to 2 hit points. Is he going to try to turn around and Stormbolt that Knight? That is going to be the question, as the Archmage is still raining down some Blizzard here. All right, down to 30 or up to 33, 34 hit points. Strength-based heroes regenerating quite a bit there, as both sides are still fighting their way through. Mountain King going to go ahead and regroup. There's a Stormbolt. That Knight chased that Mountain King all the way around the map, only to see him get felled. 55 supply compared to 47. Was that perhaps the breaking point? 2 hit point difference between victory and defeat. A circlet of nobility, well, representing a little bit more regeneration and also 50 higher hit point capacity. Is that the difference between victory and defeat here, allowing that unit to perhaps get away? We see a couple of elementals here. A mountain or paladin wants to get to level 3, but cannot clear this fast enough without the help of the additional heroes. This could be a problem. Infi now trying to back away. Stormbolt onto the Archmage. Archmage down to 180. There's a Holy Light trying to keep him alive. There's an Invul Potion trying to keep him alive. Stormbolt goes down onto the Archmage. Archmage gonna get bashed here. Is he gonna be able to get away? It looks like he's gonna be able to stay alive. Barely again. Stormbolt onto Infi. Staff of Sanctuary for the save. Infi continuing to fight here. Paladin could be in a little bit of trouble. Does have Divine Shield, and it is on cooldown here. Both sides continuing to just lob attacks. 45 supply. Where's that Mountain King? Mountain King still needs to regenerate quite a bit of hit points as we see a Stormbolt go down onto the Archmage. Archmage could be in some trouble here. We're going to see a Holy Light. He's going to stay alive. He's going to try and shift and dodge as well. And as this army... Oh, where is the Mountain King? Is the Mountain King in the Stormbolt? Yes, he does. That could be it. No, Archmage able to... Well, it's now off to the races here the other way. Archmage down to 38 hit points. He's going to try and back away, and we'll see where he can run off to. All right. Paladin going to regroup, try to go after this creep camp here. How is there... Yep. The Water Elemental going to go ahead and clear things out. Archmage, Mass Teleport. Is he... Oh! Archmage falls at level 6. Paladin gets up to level 3. Mountain King wakes up from Sanctuary slumber and goes, what did I miss? And wow, so much has he missed. 45 supply compared to 55. I know, I feel like that internet meme where you like go out for pizza and you come back and everything's on fire. All right, that Mountain King wondering what the heck happened in that battle right there. And well, what romantic happened is what happened. Spellbreakers 2/2 upgrades, staying at tier 2 or staying at tier 1. No knights, no Staff of Sanctuary, but somehow coming away the victor or with the advantage right now. Archmage is getting resurrected, but that's still going to be quite some time. Another minute before he is out here. Mountain King says, you know what, let me try and force a battle if I can. Gonna go after some of those targets instead. Stormbolt onto the Archmage. If he can get some damage, there's another follow-up bash again, and still more damage. Holy Light right there. Paladin, well, level 3 Holy Light, level 2 Holy Light could represent a large amount of healing as that Archmage now needs to back up again. Mountain King could be in trouble, down to 700 hit points. That's going to be another heal there. There's another big heal again, and this is just a massive battle going back and forth as the Paladin now trying to go after this Archmage. All right. As we are seeing a little bit more damage, 50 supply compared to 45. The Paladin, once it hit level 3, suddenly having a significant more amount of mana or a significantly more effective Holy Light, changing the pacing or the pacing of this game. All right. Oh, 9 seconds. 8, 7, 6. 5. All right, Mountain King, the Spellbreaker showing up here. Archmage could be making its way out. Is he going to make his way out? Is he going to... No! Archmage, 1 second difference between making its way out and not. And what a major setback there. Archmage not able to make its way back out onto the battlefield. We're looking at some more damage here. Inner Fire constantly being stolen back and forth. Paladin does not have enough mana. Clarity Potion, Mountain King, Stormbolt onto the Archmage. Archmage, well, is he going to be able to back out? No, he is not there. Mountain King had purposely bought a potion of mana, but we're still looking at more fighting. Mountain King now with an Invul Potion. He's going to try and stay alive. Is he going to be able to stick around? Yes, he is. Invul Potion down at 63 hit points. Mountain King still dancing around here, down to no mana. Mountain King... Potion of mana goes after the Archmage. Archmage, one more shot. No, the priest get in the way. Mountain King needs a little bit more mana. Not going to be able to catch up to that fast-moving Archmage at all, as the Mountain King is chasing after this Archmage. But the Archmage does not have Boots of Speed. Down to 122 hit points. Mountain King, that's in a hat, but does not get enough here. There is another Mountain King right there. Boots of Speed. Is he going to try to transfer here? 65 mana compared to 78. There's a Stormbolt onto the Archmage. Level 8 on the Archmage. And I believe that is going to be all she wrote between Infi and Romantic, two of the biggest names in Warcraft 3 in a human mirror match for the ages. That was an absolute blast. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below. We had 2 hit point escapes, 1 second resurrection, like a masonry upgrade. Something as small as that could have changed the outcome of the game so much. Let me know what you guys thought and what these players did right and wrong in the comments below.